Hi guys, welcome to today's video. Today's video is one of my favorite games for the NES. This was a fairly unique and fun game that took quite a while, surprisingly, to wind up beating this game. But it was a basic game, but on top of basic, it had so many nuanced elements to it that just made it so enjoyable. I almost was on the fence on just doing this as one of our quicker videos, just a starting playthrough, or actually just getting into it and doing a playthrough of it. But we have so many things to go through and do at the moment that I decided, I forgot about that. This game is very unforgiving. Although it does have its own kind of save spots in it, so when you die, you still do wind up starting from different locations. You're not always starting at the beginning. You are able to jump on the enemies without taking damage, which stuns them, and is used to get on stuff that's a little higher. But all in all, this was a very, very fun game that I really, really loved as a kid. They did remake it. I mean, it's a completely different game. The new one on PlayStation. I don't remember which one. It was one of the PlayStations, 2 or 3. It was a decent game. It still had a lot of the soul of Rygar, but it was missing a few of the key elements. Like, there was just something about the side-scrolling game that kind of lost itself when they made it a top-down 3D. But this feels a little like Battle of Olympus. But I love the music, the gameplay. It's responsive. I like the character. Like, everything about the game just really is well done. Like, there's something about the music that to this day, I still sometimes hear in my dreams. And I do love the ability to jump on the enemies, to stun them in spots like this where, you know, things are getting crazy. And you have the ability to do a stun, and then kind of where the tides are a little not in your favor, to fix them. But it's a fun action RPG with some unique elements. I mean, it's got all the tropes in it for the most part. And we do have the never-ending supply of streaming enemies that, you know, come with all of this. Let's see. Yeah, so we got attack power, so you do all your leveling up. You get a bunch of items. I believe it does go from the side scroller to a top down in a couple spots. Especially, I think at the last level, I believe it's a top down. It has been a long while since I've played this game, but I remember dedicating a good chunk of a week or so beating this game, and I loved every minute of it, to be honest. So eventually you get a rope that allows you to climb up stuff and to span these. Yeah, so we need to find a crossbow. I think we... Yeah, we die there. Alright. Like I said, we don't start... We start at, like, whatever the safe spot is for the new zone that we enter. So you never... Never fully just starting over. There's no need for... Continues. But yeah, I do not remember where we get the crossbow at. I feel like this game might be a longer video. We're gonna probably have a little bit of fun with Rygar. Let me know in the comments if you guys have actually played this at all. I know this was also an arcade game that they ported over. And I do remember playing a bit of the... Ah. We are having a bit of a rough start here. It does take a lot of getting used to, and again, like every game, until you actually get strong enough to be able to like deal some good damage. I also believe that the closer you are to the enemy is how you deal the damage. Like if they're further away, you're not doing as much damage as you would be if they were close. Which is why some of the enemies you can kill in one shot, and then sometimes it takes 2 or 3. I don't remember or know the full, I guess, logistics of the whole thing. Oh yeah, so yeah, this is yeah, we got the 2D and the 3D. I do love his jump when he's facing up and down. He's all crouched in. I think you need the crossbow to still even be able to go across that. Because it has like a wheel and pulley or something like that on it. But the game is just really well done. But again, it definitely is one of my favorite games for the system. Like next to the RPGs like Final Fantasy and Dragon Warrior, I think this is definitely... I honestly kind of enjoyed this more than Zelda. I think it just had more character to it. I know Link is beloved, and don't get me wrong, I love Zelda, but Zelda felt also kind of a little campy and kidsy, where this one I feel like was a little more gritty. I have no idea where we're going. Like, this game is a big maze. Yeah, see, we need the grappling weapon to be able to go up and down on stuff. Like, there's no maps or anything. I think that's half of what took so long learning how to play this game, or beating this game, was the fact that there's no maps, And you can go just about anywhere for the most part. We're like in a spot where we probably don't need to be. Unfortunately, killing enemies doesn't necessarily grant experience. Collecting those like stones that have like the they have the stars on them, I think is what you use to level up after you get a certain amount of them. We are one shot away from being dead. Yeah, those right there, if we can... we're not getting that one. It's unfortunate that we killed him in that spot. The good thing is, like, the enemies will drop health, and because it's an endless stream of them, you can sit there when you're in dire needs like this and try to get them to... Oh, we were at the door and you got us. That sucks. We'll go through a little bit more. We'll try to... see if we can find any places else that we need to go. But yeah, the game is both kind of simple and very elaborate. Alright, this is where this guy heals you up. It's like finding the fairy spring. Yeah, we do lose all of our stones that we collected, so that's, you know, always unfortunate when you die. It's kind of like a Souls-like. I can't remember if collecting those does level you up. I know it does something when you get a certain amount of them. I feel like it levels you up, but I'm not 100% sure. Oh, that's right, we can collect them with our thing. I forgot about that. Ah, this level is rough. At least we did get our health up. The key to this is just getting them to drop the eggs when you want them to, rather than when you don't. Oh, that sucked. That was not what we wanted. But like, all the levels are somewhat unique and different. They change up everything. I definitely think one of the next playthroughs after Dragon Warrior, I think I might do this. Because playing this again brings back so many memories. It's a very difficult and long game. It's definitely not beating a couple of hours. I'm sure there's probably some speed runs where you can do it once you really know where everything is, but remembering and figuring out where everything is to begin with is quite a chore. But I think that's the charm of this game, is trying to figure out how to get to everything. So give me the... We have not found any of the actual stuff that we need. They're telling us what we need, but not where to go get it. And then we have to go all the way back through this level. Ah! Sometimes the most inopportune times where enemies spawn. Let's get out of here. It's 2 a.m. and time for the monsters to awaken. And dead. Alright guys, well that's Rygar. Well, honestly, it really is one of my most favorite games for the NES, by far. Like, it's a very complex but simple game. It doesn't really make very many of any mistakes. It has some of the basic tropes that you would find in like an action RPG. Gotta go find this to go there and this. But for the most part, to get somewhere where you need that thing is actually further on in the level. So like you can wind up running around for a long time and getting yourself lost, which doesn't sound like fun, but I think it really has something. I think that really adds to a game that is not absolutely so linear that you can always figure out exactly where to go and how to get there pretty easily. The fact that it takes a while to figure out anything, and that you miss one little turn, and you know, like if you forget about it or miss it, or like at the beginning stage where we're climbing up, but if you stay at the bottom, you don't notice that one little path that goes all the way over there to get over here, and there's a lot of that in this game. And then once you get stuff like the grappling hook that allows you to climb up and down levels, it opens up more and more of the game, and you wind up missing out and finding things you have to backtrack and do a lot of stuff. It's a lot of trial and error, but all in all, it's a very rewarding, very fun, and just, it's a great game. Honestly, if you've never tried it, I highly, highly recommend giving it a go. Like I said, I think this will be the next one we play after Dragon Warrior 3, I think we're going to do a playthrough of Rygar. It probably won't be as long as Dragon Warrior 3, but I don't remember. I know it took me over a week, I think, to actually wind up beating Rygar the first time. But again, much younger then, and everything. But I think that we will take some time. It is a very extensive and quite large game from what I remember. I could be mistaken, and I could just be thinking about it because it's like 1 or 2 hours here and there. So we'll see. But with that being said, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Drop a comment below if you've actually tried this out and what you think, and we'll see you next time.